The involvement of public officials in illegal activities have continued to come to the fore as in the latest development. Immigration officers and government officials have been arrested for alleged involvement in forging documents to send people abroad. In this edition of Kantipur News, we also have for you updates from COP28, where world leaders are negotiating on steps to combat climate crisis, and the UEFA Champions League. Good evening, I'm Prarambha Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Nepal police nabs 32 individuals alleged of forging documents and sending people abroad on tourist visas. Those arrested include immigration officers and government officials. Minister for Finance Prakash Amrit says the national economy is gradually improving, adds it would take some time for creation of more job opportunities. A first-time deal agreed to call on all countries to move away from using fossil fuels at the UN Climate Summit in Dubai following days of negotiations. And Paris Saint-Germain look to grab a spot in the knockout of UEFA Champions League as they meet Borussia Dortmund tonight. Nepal police has arrested 32 individuals for sending Nepali nationals to other countries on tourist visa by preparing fake documents. The Katmandu Valley Crime Investigation Office has arrested 32 individuals of a group including government officials and travel agency operators. At a press conference organized today, the office informed 32 individuals had been arrested from 6th October and added that required procedures for actions were underway. Those arrested are forging documents for visit visas, including 6 operators of consultancies, 1 police personnel, 1 former police personnel, 2 representatives of airlines, and 11 others involved in different illegal works. Saying 3 of those arrested have been released on bail, the office has added that 3 more were arrested today while required investigation was underway. Those arrested are Officer of Department of Immigration Norway Khadka and staff of Nepal Airlines Yadav and Home Pokharel. Police has said that the travel agencies charged 15,000 rupees per person for forging documents, while the officers of the Department of Immigration charged 55,000 rupees for new individuals and 40,000 rupees for those who had previously visited a foreign country. The Department of Foreign Employment has urged people to remain vigilant, saying that individuals and organizations have been luring people with hopes of getting employment opportunities in Israel. Spokesperson and information officer of the department, Kavira Zupreti, said that the government has been sending workers only for caretaker jobs in line with the labor agreement between the two nations. According to Preti, bilateral talks are underway to send workers in agriculture sector in Israel. However, a decision was yet to be reached. The department has warned people that active groups have been luring people by issuing fake public notice regarding the opportunity to work in Israel under the government's Learn and Earn program and other sectors as well. Issuing a notice, the department has said that investigation on such cases are underway and has urged people not to be tempted by them. The department has said that it had received information that such groups had been conducting illegal activities and collecting money from people as well. Minister for Finance Prakash Amrit has said that the national economy is gradually improving. However, he added that it would take some time for the improvement to reflect in the productive sectors and creation of employment opportunities. At the press meet organized at the Ministry of Finance, Minister Amrit claimed that the recent flexible monetary policy embraced by the Nepal Rashtra Bank and increase in expenditure by the government had created positive impact on the economy. He added that the government was making the best of its efforts to increase development expenditure and curb the current expenditure, which he said had aided in achieving positive results. He added that improvements were being seen in the share market and real estate sector. However, Minister Amrit said that the consumers and investors were in a state of dilemma regarding whether or not to increase consumption or investment, and further added that the government was making efforts to clear the confusion. For the human resource leaving Nepal to seek better opportunities abroad, Minister Amrit shared the commitment of increasing the involvement of the young generation in the information technology sector. He also said that Nepal would not seek foreign support in projects that are not productive. President Ramchandra Paul has approved the resignation of the Federal Parliament Secretariat Secretary General Varatraj Gautam, who had furnished his resignation on 10th of December. According to spokesperson at the office of the President Shailaja Regmi Vatrai, Gautam's resignation was approved today. Speaker of the House of Representatives Devraj Khimire and National Assembly Chairperson Ganesh Prasad Timalsina had recommended Secretary of the House of Representatives Padma Prasad Pandey for the position of the Secretary General before Gautam's resignation was approved. Saying the recommendation was furnished before the approval of Gautam's resignation, President Paudel had put the recommendation on hold for additional study. As the President is yet to appoint a new Secretary General of the Parliament Secretariat, the Speaker has assigned Pandey the responsibility of the acting Secretary General. Sales of tobacco products with plastic packaging have been banned inside the Katmandu Metropolis beginning today. The Katmandu Metropolis had issued a notice 15 days ago and had directed to stop the sales of tobacco products with plastic packaging starting today. The KMC has also warned of confiscating such products and taking actions if they are found sold despite the prohibition. The Metropolis has also prohibited smoking and consumption of tobacco products at public places. The KMC has also drawn attention towards the state expenditure exceeding tens of millions of rupees for treatment of patients with diseases caused by consumption of tobacco products. The Katmandu Metropolis, meanwhile, has shared its plans of constructing bus stops at 264 locations. Information regarding the bus stops was shared during an interaction related to collaboration between the Metropolis and Traffic Police held to mark the 29th Metropolis Day. With the objective of improving the transport mechanism, the Metropolis has informed that it has made preparations for the management of bus routes, one-way sections, criteria for operation of motorcycle garages, management of cones and dividers, petrol pumps, and road signs and signals, among other aspects. The Metropolis has said that works are underway with the allocated 440 million rupees for improvement of the transport sector. The protest of the officials of the Nepal Airlines Corporation continued for the 8th day today against the decision of the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, CAN, to assign the responsibility of ground handling to another entity. The struggle committee has continued its protest program against the decision. It has said that the protest programs are to continue until the decision is withdrawn. Officials of the Nepal Airlines Corporation have said that the national flag carrier should not be weakened and added that they were compelled to resort to protest to stop the exodus of capital. The officials have shared grievances regarding the indifference of the minister related to the department despite the protest lasting for 8 days. Earlier, the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal had decided to assign the responsibility of ground handling on the basis of competitive mechanism. Just over 59,000 beneficiaries of the Jajarkot earthquake have been identified. Local levels of 5 districts hit by the earthquake, Jajarkot, Rukum West, Bazang, Bazura and Solyan, have identified 59,162 households as the beneficiaries. A total of 1,410 million rupees has already been released from the government fund for the construction of temporary shelters in Jajarkot, Rukum West, Bazang, Bazura and Solyan. Of the released fund, 1,04,825,000 rupees has been deposited in the account of the local levels by today. Of the beneficiaries identified by the local levels, 10,153 have agreed for construction of temporary shelters. The local levels have provided 246,275,000 rupees to them for this purpose. Of those receiving the funds are 2,423 households from Rukum West and 40 in Solyan and have begun residing at the temporary shelters built by themselves. Jaleshwar Customs Office Mohtari has generated 1,074.9 million rupees in revenue in the 4 months of the ongoing fiscal year. The amount generated is 100 million rupees more than that of the same period last year. The Customs Department had assigned a revenue target of 3,762,300,000 rupees to Jaleshwar Customs Office for the ongoing fiscal year. The Jaleshwar Customs Office has said that the revenue of the 4 months had increased because of rise in import of coal. 560.2 million rupees has been generated from petroleum products in the 4 months of the ongoing fiscal year, while 512,733,000 rupees has been collected from the import of other goods by the Customs Office. Construction works of a concrete bridge have begun over the Kaligandaki River in the border of Palpa and Sangja. A new bridge is to be constructed at Ramdi, which connects Sunauli-Pokhara section of the Siddhartha Highway, as the existing bridge is in a dilapidated condition. The Road Division's Bridge Department has assigned a contract for construction of a new bridge next to the existing 93-meter-long bridge. According to Information Officer of the project, Ashik Rizal, an agreement was reached on 14th July 2022 for completion of the bridge by mid of July 2025 at an investment of 277,100,000 rupees. The new bridge will measure 108 meters in length, 11 meters in width, and with a capacity of 40 tons of weight. The heightened tension between the mayor and the deputy mayor of Birat Metropolis has affected service delivery. The service seekers have been compelled to return without completing their work after the officials of Metropolis had demonstrations against the intensifying dispute between the two public representatives. Dispute had surfaced on Tuesday regarding the change in the office of the Chief Administrative Officer. The dispute had intensified as the office of the Chief Administrative Officer had been relocated in a different room and the Department of Social Security and Registration had been set up there. The disagreement between the two leaders had turned into a brawl and police had to intervene. The mayor of the metropolis said that the Department of Social Security had been set up on the ground floor of the building with a view to ensure easy access for senior citizens, which was obstructed by the deputy mayor. The deputy mayor, meanwhile, has said that the clash had occurred because of the mayor. He has accused the mayor of trying to draw the chief district officer in his favor and operate the metropolis as per his convenience. The metropolis officials have grown agitated with the dispute between the two public representatives. This has affected the service delivery of the administration. The officials have also blamed that the supporters of the two public representatives had shown abusive behavior to them. Efforts are underway from both sides to solve the issue, but they have yet to reach an agreement. It is now time for our segment Public Polls, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what do you term the absence of parliamentarians at the thematic committees? Your options are A, not realizing their responsibility, B, disrespecting the parliament, and C, busy schedule. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the international news. A new deal has been agreed at the UN Climate Summit in Dubai after days of negotiations. For the first time, the deal calls on all countries to move away from using fossil fuels but not to phase them out, something many governments wanted. The text recognizes the need for deep, rapid and sustained reductions if humanity is to limit temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The COP28 president said nations had confronted realities and set the world in the right direction. However, Samoa, representing island nations that have been hard hit by climate change, said they were not in the room when the deal was approved. Campaign groups also criticized the announcement, saying the agreement does not go far enough, as Greenpeace said it won't be possible to achieve the transition in a fair and fast manner. Just a week ago, when COP28 was well underway, Saudi Arabia's Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman had unequivocally rejected the idea of phasing out fossil fuels. Throughout the negotiations, Saudi Arabia, backed by other major oil producers, Russia and Iraq, pushed back against other countries who wanted a stronger declaration committing to the phase-out of fossil fuels. In the end, Saudi Arabia toned down their opposition, and the final deal includes a pledge for transitioning away from fossil fuels. The United Nations refugee chief warned that the Gaza conflict could spur more displacement in the wider region as UN officials, politicians and aid groups gathered in Geneva today to seek solutions to a global displacement crisis. A record 114 million people around the world have been driven from their homes, including about 40 million refugees fleeing dozens of active conflicts, including the Sudan and Ukraine. Fight from Israel's bombardment of Gaza since the October 7 attack by Hamas gunmen in southern Israel has also internally displaced 85% of the Palestinian enclave's population. During the Global Refugee Forum held in Geneva, an event hosted every 4 years, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, urged the international community not to forget other crises spurring displacement.
A major human catastrophe is unfolding in the Gaza Strip. And so far, the Security Council has failed to stop the violence. The events that have occurred in Israel and Gaza since the 7th of October are outside the mandate of UNHCR. Tragically, however, we foresee more civilian deaths and suffering, and also further displacement that threatens the region. I have a plea. Please do not lose sight of other pressing humanitarian and refugee crises.
Attendees at the forum, which runs until Friday, are expected to make pledges around specific refugee-related issues such as education and promoting the voluntary return to home countries. Only 60% of refugee children are enrolled in school. Granny said he hoped there would be funding pledges to the UN agency, which has a $400 million shortfall for 2023. He said there was great uncertainty about how much UNHCR donors, including the United States and Germany, can give in the year 2024. An Israeli raid in the occupied West Bank city of Jenin entered second day, a day after 7 Palestinians were killed, including a 13-year-old boy. 5 of the 7 killed yesterday died in a drone strike, the Palestinian Health Ministry and the Palestinian official news agency Wafa said. The 13-year-old died after Israeli forces prevented an ambulance from transferring him to the hospital to receive medical treatment. Palestinian journalists at the entrance of the Jenin camp said the army was preventing them from entering the area. Israel's military confirmed the drone strike and said it had killed an unspecified number of Palestinians who were spotted hurling explosive devices and firing at its forces. Heavy rains in southern Gaza has brought more despair to displaced Palestinians living in a tent camp in Rafah. The displaced Palestinians spoke about lack of warm clothes, blankets and protection from the rain. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, Israel's assault on Gaza to root out Hamas has killed at least 18,205 Palestinians, including many children, and wounded nearly 50,000 since October 7. The UN and Gaza Health Ministry has said that the conflict has also led to starvation, displaced 85% of the population from their homes, and caused diseases to spread. In a massive security breach, 2 people jumped into the Lok Sabha chamber of Indian Parliament from the public gallery and opened tear gas canisters today. Televised footage of the proceedings show members attempting to catch the intruders as they climbed from desk to desk. Both houses were adjourned moments later. One person was seen leaping over the benches of the Lok Sabha, while another was seen dangling from the public gallery spraying a yellow-colored gas when 0 hour was in progress. The 2 persons were eventually overpowered by the Lok Sabha members and the watch and ward staff. BJP member Rajendra Agrawal, who was in the chair, adjourned the proceedings till 2 p.m. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Congress leader Gaurav Gogoi said that 2 young men had unleashed foul-smelling yellow-colored gas from canisters inside Parliament gallery. One of them was raising some slogans as well. Gogoi said the incident raises serious questions on the security aspect of the new Parliament building. Meanwhile, 2 other people identified as 42-year-old Neelam and 25-year-old Almol Shinde were detained by local police outside New Delhi's Transport Bhavan, where they were protesting with yellow smoke. Departmental team Armed Police Force have marked a winning start at the Bagmati Women's T20 series. In the match play today, APF secured a 72-run win over Bagmati province. With this, APF lead the 3-match series 1-0. After being put to bat in the lower ground of Mulpani, APF posted 135 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in 20 overs. Indu Burma top scored with 39 runs, Mamta Chaudhary contributed 38 and Sita Rana Magar scored 30 runs. Krisma Gurung and Sevika Gurung picked a wicket each for Bagmati. Chasing a target of 136 runs, Bagmati were restricted at 63 for the loss of 8 wickets in 20 overs. Kanchan Shrestha top scored with 21, while none of the other Bagmati batters managed a double-digit score. Indu picked 2 wickets for APF, while Karuna Bhandari and Sita shared a wicket each. The series has been organized by the Bagmati Province Cricket Association as a preparation for the Prime Minister Cup Women's National T20 tournament. Second match of the series is slated for tomorrow, while the third and the last match will be played this Friday. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister Cup Women's National T20 tournament begins on 15th January. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin airs at 10:30 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.